Hi friends, it's July the 4th, 2023, and I was supposed to work tonight, but I got canceled for slow work, but give me a chance to come out here today and show you the jungle. So as you can see, this potatoes. I put several potatoes in there. I grew the potatoes last year and I never really ate them, and they just sat in the closet and grew eyes. So later in the spring, I decided I used them as my seed potatoes and planted them. And I bought the originals as seed potatoes in 2022 also. So anyway, that plant is very big, if you cannot tell. It's in a huge container. That container is probably 2.5 feet across. I think it is 24 inches across or more, I don't know. Anyway, between 2 and 3 feet across. So that's that. It's getting the flowers on it. I think what it is when the flowers, after the flowers get pollinated and it gets the fruit on it and the fruit start to fall off, that's when it's time to dig up the potatoes. And also the foliage will start to die back. The plant itself will die back, and then you'll know to dig in under there. This is just some stuff that I didn't have room for, didn't have room to plant. Getting flowers on it. Interesting. That's a sunflower. This is bolted lettuce. So I'm just going to chop that down and compost it. Here's the blueberries getting ripe. All those runners that I did on the last video, you can see they're all taking root and probably can be cut off the mother plant, and a couple more that I need to catch. But this thing is done producing strawberries because it's called a June bearing, and true to its name, it didn't make any more strawberries after June. And the other thing I noticed about it is the first strawberries that it made were really big, and they got smaller as it got down to the last batch. These things have just taken off. These are the ground cherries that I've been talking about, and that's the ground cherry. You know, I was trying to describe it, made a paper lantern, then the fruit is inside. A cherry tomato type fruit is inside. And they're supposed to be super good, and I can't wait to taste them. And since they were supposed to be so good, I planted a lot of them. And I even have some in the garden. And there's another one. And it's already working on some fruit. It's funny, I didn't notice the fruit before. I don't know if it just popped out. I knew it had flowers on it, but while I was asleep, I dreamed that they had fruit on it, and they fell off and were on the ground. Anyway, let's have a look at these blueberries. That's pretty. Try to do this gently without disturbing the other ones. Look at that. Sometimes when they're not ready, the bottom is still kind of green or pinkish. So I'm gonna eat it. Pretty good. Still a little tart. A little bit tart. I'm gonna grab this one. That's just a pretty little scene right there. That pink and purple go good together. But I'm gonna mess up the picture right quick. And he's good. Eat it. That one is real good. That one was real good. And there's more over there. I probably should drape something over here so the birds don't get to them before I do. Anyway, here's all this bolted lettuce. Nothing to do with that but chop it down. These flowers, zinnias. Not really too impressed with these zinnias. This is some cosmos getting ready to bloom. There's these little pom-pom pink zinnias. I would like them, but they're so small. They just don't, it's not that pretty. Let me just be honest. I'm not like wow, like I was last year with the regular zinnias. Here's the bush cucumbers. There really isn't any cucumbers on here. But look, there's some more flowers coming. These are pretty much done. Those are not edible. And these are like going to the point where you can take them for seed. They'll dry out in there. And you could use them for seed for next year or for a new planting, I guess. See how swollen that one is? Anyway, the aphids had got on this last time. So it's pretty much done. Although there is a nice green one that's green all the way from the bottom. And it even has flowers, but I don't know how I'll chop the rest of it down and spare that, but we'll see. This is some lettuce I harvested and it's growing back. It'll grow back from the stump after you harvest it, if you leave the stump. Like Nebuchadnezzar. A few blueberries on that one. That one didn't do near as well. Cosmos, I'm not digging them this year. I'm not. Anyway, that's a zinnia. Pretty color, very vibrant. Lovely. All right, so this is what prompted this video. This is some putrid smelling stuff. And what I'm gonna do is show you why I have that out. There's a cucumber under there. I think it's a lemon cucumber. That's why it looks different. Yep, that's funny. I dreamed I had some cucumbers too, and come out here and there they are. I gotta do something with this. Chopping all of that off. All that should be strawberries if this was a decent plant, but since it's not, since it's grown for those pretty pink flowers, and they are shriveled up and trifling looking, and I'm not eating none of them. All right, here is the subject of the video. If you look carefully, what you're looking at is carnage caused by one rabbit that I saw hopping away. These are Brussels sprouts, and hopefully they will recover from this. Where apparently the bunny just likes the stalks. He doesn't care for the leaves. So he bites them off, bites off the stalks and eats them up to the leaf and moves on. And he did it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants. And if I hadn't came out here, he probably would have finished them off. So that's why I'm gonna put up, that's called, actually, that's called deer stop. And I got that at a store, but that's an empty jar, an empty bottle that I use to mix up this new stuff. And that new stuff is called deer fence. Deer fence. So that's what's mixed up in there now. I overdid the concentration a little bit, but I'll show you some stuff. Look here, y'all. You know this don't make no sense. This is a combination of cucumbers, and for whatever reason, I decided I was going to put a couple pumpkin things in there. The, the big leaves are the pumpkins. So anyway, I gotta get in there and make some kind of sense of that. See if I can't put some additional trellising made out of bamboo in there. And get this back together. Hear a weird sound? Okay, anyway, on with the tour. Just the same old stuff. Every now and then I see a Japanese beetle that I knock off, and I'll show you the damage that they do. There's a bee on the zinnias. I don't know what kind of bee. But this is the damage that the Japanese beetles do, and it gets worse than that. Potato flowers. They look a lot like tomato flowers, actually. There's a potato flower, and here's actually this is a tomatillo flower. And where's a potato flower? Here, there's a potato flower. Right there. Oh, right there. Hasn't opened up yet. All right, so I'm gonna show you some more damage that Mr. Rabbit did. This is on the other side. He got that one. Now, how'd he get in there? This netting was designed to keep out, it was designed to keep out butterflies. So the rabbit, he probably just went on right in there. This is the other thing he did. These are beans. Got over here. You can see where he was eating on those. So hopefully there's still a plenty. You see the mistake. That is my watermelon patch, egads. And these monstrous onions. The variety is Walla Walla. These ones over here are still small, but for whatever reason, those in the corner are giant. Kind of shading out that okra plant. They're finally kind of taking off. I think this is a flower getting ready to come. And then after the flower blooms, then in its place comes up an okra. So they're finally starting to get going. The bug dust that I put on them was successful from the aphids that were all over them, so that worked. And they're small, but looks like they're gonna finally start producing some fruit. All right, I'm gonna go take you around this thing. What in the world? Nobody ever has probably done this before. And the reason is because it's not smart. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I should just put some landscape fabric here and just let them come on out. That's gonna create sort of a cleanup issue with weeding or cutting the grass and edging up and stuff. I don't know. So there's the rest of the beans. Looks like he didn't get to these yet. So I'm gonna put that the deer fence is a deer and rabbit repellent. So here's the other 4 ground cherries. 1, 2, 3. Well, there's 4 of them anyway in this little space. So let me see if they have ground cherries on them. There's one forming right there. Tiny. Here's one. Interesting. Never grew them before. A lot of bugs out here because we don't have any direct sun. It's interesting. I watched a video last night of a lady named, her name is Callie Kim. She lives in Southern California. I guess Southern California, somewhere in California. And she has a garden and a channel with quite a few followers. She's very commercial, but anyway, I check her out every now and then, even though I don't care for her manner. Because like I said, she's very commercial. She's into making money off of her channel and her subscribers, so her channel is kind of infected with that. I'm not saying she doesn't give, decent information, but if you sponsor and stuff, that's a conflict of interest, and that is definitely going to affect what you say and what you don't say. But anyway, even if it's slightly, it will. So anyway, she was saying that they were having like those hazy skies like we are too. There's not been any full direct sunlight. It's all been hazed over with a quote unquote smoke, wink wink, from Canada. So anyway, so she said they finally got some clear days of pure sun, and it scorched her tomato leaves. So that's another thing. I mean, that's something to think about. That when the plants have been these couple of weeks without direct sun, and then you bring back out the direct sun, they're not going to be able to handle it. Getting some tomatoes on there. What I'll describe what size that is. That's about the size of maybe a tennis ball, that big one. So we're definitely getting tomatoes. I'm probably gonna pick this one off because see how the bottom is kind of scarred? I don't want that. And I'm gonna cut it off while it's young so that the plant does not waste any energy on it. All right, there's another thing I need to get to. All of those banana peppers. Right here, I've been hearing of something called cowboy candy. I might make some of that. Just some pickled banana peppers because I really love banana peppers. But honestly, these are pretty hot. There's one under that plant, but it's obviously being shaded out. See how big those leaves are compared to the cucumber leaves? There's a pumpkin called a Jack Be Little. We're getting fruit on there too. If I can find it. There it is. I like to look at the bottom. And whenever I like to take that off. Take that little flower. Just help the blossom get off. So you don't get scar face. But somebody said that's not really what causes scar facing, but anyway. This is the tomato jungle. And believe it or not, there's a tomato in here that once had a prominent space before it got outgrown by the cucumbers and other vining things that I put in there. Like, what was I thinking? Oh, the sunflower coming on. I don't know what kind it is. I think it might be, I don't know what kind it is. Oh, tomatillos. That's what I wanted to show you. So the ground cherry, being a cross between something like a tomato and something like a tomatillo, here you can see the similarity where the fruit comes in a joint and it has that paper lantern on it, and the fruit will grow inside there. There's a tomato looking thing forming inside there that the birds like to sit up on those sticks and poop down on my garden. Isn't that nice? Anyway, so I guess that's all the update I have for you. We've had an attack. So we've had deer attack, aphids attack, and now rabbits. Let me get this mess cleaned up and get some order in these patches. Okay, God bless everybody. Coming to you from Asher's Garden.